Howdy Meeps, Rigger Roger here, and today I'm going to try to play a little bit of Mausritter. I've been threatening to play Mausritter forever, and you can go back and take a look at some of my previous videos. I did a read-through of the rule set, and the Mausritter rules that I had read have actually been updated since then. And so there are some corrections and things. Some of the stuff that I noticed, Isaac actually watched that and made some notes apparently, and did I'm not taking credit for it at all, but some of this, which is as much to say as some of the stuff that I had noticed as I was doing the rule read through has been updated. I'm not going to do a full read through of the rules this time, even though there's some changes. You can look back, but you can also actually take a look at the fact that there is now a Kickstarter going on for the box set and an adventure collection. If you just search for Mausritter on Kickstarter, you'll find it. The box set is different than the one that had previously been released, but they're still working with Games Omnivorous to put this out. The new part of it is that there's 10 adventures in a collection that is also available. So even if you got the previous box set, or were lucky enough to get through the website in order to get the actual thing, you can actually get an adventure collection to add on to that physical box, and with at least 10 adventures more if there's stretch goals and stuff like that. Now, either way, whether you do that or not, consider checking out. You can check out the rules. They are name your own price on itch. If you go to losing-games.itch.io, or just search for Mausritter on itch.io, you'll find the game and a ton of other stuff that you can play. People are making all kinds of fun stuff, including, I was noticing there's a weird overlap between Mausritter and Morkborg. It's not a one-to-one, but the Venn diagram of people who are interested in Mausritter and the people who are interested in Morkborg, and I'm one of them, is a little bit weirder and larger. The overlap is way more significant than I thought it would be. It's just weird because they're very different games. Cute little mice. I suppose cute little mice dying in a horrible world. Maybe that's the overlap. I don't know. Anyhow, so you can go and you can pick up the PDF to check out. Name your own price. Throw them a couple bucks. $6.66 if you're really feeling it. But download it, check it out. If you like it, go to the Kickstarter. Support it. Consider supporting it. Or support any of all the other creators and help them out. Now, it's currently, the Kickstarter has got 12 days to go. It's fully funded, so it's just a matter of take a look at what's available and consider if you're interested. And I have gone ahead and I've set up a few things. I have 4 characters that I went and set up. Now, since previously doing this, I've sort of switched myself over to Foundry VTT. So I had planned on doing this as an actual physical tabletop thing, where I would have the character sheets, and I would, I did a video of me cutting out all of the inventory pieces. I printed them all out and cut them out and got ready. And so I was going to do them physically, but in the interim, however long it's been, I decided that I would start trying to use Foundry VTT for solo play. And so I've been playing with that, and this is one of the ones that I had set up. This is so I added the background that I had previously had for streaming as just sort of a start page. And then I've added 4 characters, and the 4 characters are August Buckthorn, Basil Witter, Olive Ratschlap, and Poppy Black. And I created the tokens for these out of, I kit bashed them out of the rule book and added a little token circle around them. But so let's take a look really quickly. Now, actually, let me say that I used the mouse generator that's on the website. So if you go to mausritter.com, you can create mouse characters, and you can also generate adventure sites. You can use the generator for creating sort of crawls that you can do. So delving into sodden set, a wizard's tower ruined by attacks from a great beast. And then it creates the rooms that you move through. And then there's also, you can create, if you're going to do physical inventory cards, you can actually create them. And then it'll create a full sheet of them for you. And then you can print that out and like physically print that for yourself. So that's all available on mausritter.com. And then, of course, there's the community and all sorts of things like that to check out. Let's see. Yeah, and so maybe introducing the characters. The first character that I had generated is August Buckthorn. So let's take a look. August Buckthorn is a beekeeper who's inquisitive and stubborn. Their sign is acorn. Their coat is gray and patchy. And they have a prehensile tail. So I don't know how that'll, like, it's not like a weapon or anything like that, but like grabbing a key off of, like if they were locked in a thing, he might be able to use his tail to, hey, hi Jen, what are you doing? You want to sit in my lap? Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how that'll play out. They've got Strength 8, Dex 10, Will 12, which is pretty high. HP of 6, 4 pips. Pips are like coin. And then their weapon of choice is a needle. I figured like that fit with being a beekeeper. They've also got a jar of honey, a net, torches, and rations all set to go. Okay, but anyhow, so that's August. Here's Basil Witter. Basil Witter is our hedge witch, wise and mysterious, and sign of moon with a solid blue colored coat, which is kind of cool, and frizzy fur. So very, oh man, what was the divinatory arts teacher in Harry Potter? Anyhow, so strength 9, dex 6, will 4. I don't know how Will 4 is going to play out. That's not so great. HP 1, pips 4. I figured a dagger for like cutting herbs and stuff like that would be a good weapon for them. They have one spell, which is heal, and a block of cheese, rations, torches, and an incense stick. And I'm not entirely sure what the incense stick will end up being. I was imagining maybe like a distraction. Like you could set up an incense stick to like on one side of a camp, light it, and then run around to the other side. And while that was being investigated, you could come in and like you'd want to set it maybe upwind of camp, and then come in from downwind, and then it would mask your scent. That's kind of what I was thinking, like to be creative about it. So that's our hedge witch. The next character is Olive Ratchlip. Olive Ratchlip is a tank, interestingly enough. Was a test subject, is wise and mysterious, sign moon, black patchy fur, and looks fashionable. Strength 10, dex 9, will 9, 1 HP. And what I figured is as a test subject, what I'd give them would be a scalpel. Like they, leaving the lab or whatever as they escaped the test lab, they'd grab a scalpel, or maybe they were about to be dissected and they managed to get free and they grabbed a scalpel and like hit the hand that was trying to hold them down or something like that. And they've got a lead coat for like taking x-rays or whatever, but that's heavy armor. So they've got a heavy spear and a heavy armor. So really interesting. At some point they're gonna hold the door, and they've got a magic missile spell. So not only do they have this like incredibly heavy weaponry, but they also have a spell. That's just dangerous. If you get like a tanky paladin with a fireball, all hell would break loose. Okay, so that's Olive. And then our last mouse is Poppy Black. Poppy Black is a librarian mouse. They're wise and mysterious, sign of moon. Their coat is tan brindle, and they've got a whip-like tail for slapping people who are making noise, no doubt. Strength 10, Dex 10, Will 7, 7 HP. They've got 5 pips, and I gave them a hammer, which I imagined. The reason why I gave that was I was imagining, it's not a war hammer, it's just a medium hammer. I imagined that they used it to smash like bookworms and silverfish, finding them in the books and stuff. Smashing them flat, even though they're already flat, but squishing them. And then they've got a scrap of obscure something or other, and a quill and ink, and torches and rations. And so that's Poppy Black. So those were the 4 characters, and those ones I created from the generator on that website. Anyhow, so those are the 4 characters that I created. Let's take a look really quickly. Let's go to the rule book. And, what's going to be embarrassing about this is that I'm going to have to totally remind myself how to play as I go. Let's take a really quick look. So Stumpsville is there at 15. 16, 14, 5. Ghost Beach. 16 is Ancient Castle. 5 and 6. Poppy Seed House. Mouse Roadhouse. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is that I am maybe jumping in media res. No, actually, okay, there's a river. Okay, there's a river running through. Hex 6 on this map, the Earldom of Eck. In Hex 6, there is Poppy Seed House, which is a mouse roadhouse. And it says there's river rat smugglers have a secret hideout in the basement. I don't think I'm going to use that yet. But what I'm going to say is that I think August, Basil, and Poppy are friends. And they're hanging out. Maybe, it's summertime, it's hot, and they're riding the river, as one does. That's the skipping school. I used to do this all the time. We'd skip school and head to the river and hang out. And I think that's what they're doing. Maybe not skipping school, but they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's say that. So August, Basil, and Poppy are friends. We don't necessarily know what their history is, but they've been friends for a while. They're from an area near here, and they're splishing and splashing, having a good time. And I think what happens is that a mouse comes floating down the river, and they're like they do a double take to each other, and it's like, oh gosh, is this a dead body? Is this the beginning of a David Lynch movie? And they go and they they manage to use I think Basil uses their net, of course. So Basil is our not Basil, August. August is our beekeeper. So August and maybe Basil stretch out the net between them in order to catch this mouse that's coming. There's this mouse body that's coming down the river, and I think that I'm gonna just give it to them. That's not super difficult. And they pick a calm area, so it's not like Whitewater Rapids or something like that. And I think that what happens is they see the body of Olive, so this black patchy mouse that's got heavy weapons and heavy armor and all sorts of stuff on them, and they're floating down the river, and I don't think they're bloody, but maybe scratched up and stuff, and they look tussled, like they've definitely seen some stuff. Some stuff has happened, but they're still, they pull them up on up on shore, and this rat is still breathing and is still alive, and so they help this rat, not rat, mouse, sort of get dry and rest up on, and they sort of stand guard. And I think they would be on edge. I think they would be thinking, like, is something else going to come? So I think one of the two, like two of them will stay maybe with Olive, watching, and sort of watching Olive or this person that they don't really know yet, and then also like being aware of what's going on. And then the other one is going to be looking, so maybe August will stay with the river with the net, just in case anything else comes down. And maybe something does. Maybe actually the Olive's pack comes down, and so they catch that and they bring that up and set it up on the beach of this side of the river, to dry out. And yeah, so I think after maybe a little while, maybe a little rest, they just sort of spend a watch. In Mausritter, there's basically 4 watches of the sort of the time scale as things go. So they spend about 4 hours, 4 natural hours, like variable hours, as in there's the watches move based on when sunrise and sunset. That's my feeling anyway. And I think this mouse wakes up and introduces it. They're like, "Are you okay? We got your pack. I don't know if you had anything else, but that's all that came down the river with you. You were floating on the river. What happened? Are you okay? Do we need to? Is there anybody we can get in contact with to let them know that you're?" And I think Olive is like, totally freaked out, having just escaped some lab somewhere, maybe on a different hex, has been floating on the river for a while, or maybe walking on the river and fell in. Something happened after their escape from the test lab, and they ended up in the river, and floating uncontrolled. Maybe they hit a white water area and bonked their head or something. A little bit. So they were, they explained, no, I was following the river. I escaped a lab, and there's nobody. I don't really know anybody. I wonder. I'm feeling like they've been in the lab the whole time. Like maybe this is our naive audience insert opportunity. Is like I don't know anything. I don't know anybody. I got away. I've been in a lab for ages, and I've been following the river and floating on this river for days, and you're the first people that I found, or something, which is probably pretty lucky. Maybe like getting eaten by a fish in the river was something that could have happened. But so anyhow, so this is the first time that Olive meets these friends, and they basically say like, well, I mean, there's a mouse roadhouse right near here. We can get you some food and you can rest up there and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's what they'll do as we go back to the PDF. So Hex 6 is where we're at, which is kind of the lower left corner, and that's the Mouse Roadhouse. So I think they'll go to the Mouse Roadhouse, get some food, after the hard adventuring of splashing water, the hard effort of splashing water at each other, and rescuing a mouse. All of a sudden, they're gonna go to the roadhouse, get some food, and they'll talk about, like, introduce each other to themselves, and just sort of say, well, yeah, well, I'm a librarian, and my name is, and all that sort of stuff. And Olive, tell us about the lab. I think for Olive, it's more of a I'll tell you all about it. I don't want to think about it right now. I'm just so glad to have escaped from there. And I think that maybe that's going to be a opportunity for a quest for a delve of some kind, is finding the lab that Olive came from, maybe rescuing other people. Hex 4 has the Cave of Gormenghast, which is, of course, Marvin Peake's crazy city. That's funny. I can't remember if that was if I noticed that in the rule set, but that was part of the generators. So I think they say so. We actually live in Stumpsville. Stumpsville is hex 15. We live with a bunch of mice. We make some excellent cheese, and we'd love to, we'll get you some of that, and you can hang out with us, and we'll go from there. And I think that's when they first meet, and they decide then to go back home. Maybe they've been camping out on the river for a few days. I think that would probably be a good way to say that they've been away from Stumpsville for a few days, so that there's time for Stumpsville, the stuff that needs to happen between when they were there and when they return. So let's see. Oh, nope. Let's go here. Should I do running a hex crawl? Let's take really quickly. Create factions, detailed adventure sites, seed, rumors. Oh, I suppose I could use this opportunity as they're kibitzing over the table to start some rumors. Yeah, I don't think I want to use any of the rumors yet. That's what I was contemplating just there. I think I have enough to get them started, and then we'll do the rumors after that. So let's take a look at this adventure site really quickly for Stumpsville. So the example adventure site is Stumpsville, which is in the next hex. The mice of Oaks Grove are worried about their friends and cousins in Stumpsville after the village's usually reliable delivery of cheese failed to arrive on market day. Unbeknownst to the players, the mice of Stumpsville have been kidnapped by the dead rats as a gift to the cat lord Balthazar. The rats are holding the villagers in their secret hideout to the north of until the trade can be made. Will the players solve the mystery and find where the villagers have been taken? Can they rescue the mice in time? Let's play to find out. So the thing that I'm imagining is I'm going to slightly change the beginning of this and say that the kidnapping happened as they were at the beach and, doing all that. And maybe since it's a hex, they spent the night at the roadhouse to let Olive rest. And then I think when they wake up in the morning, there's like tension in the air at the roadhouse, and they sort of, what's going on? What why is it? Everything was great. What happened overnight? And I think what happened, the bartender or somebody says, well, we didn't get a delivery of cheese today from Stumpsville. And I think the three friends, Olive has no idea what's going on. But the three friends sort of look at each other. That is extremely unlikely and irregular. That never happens. This is like the post office missed a delivery day, and so they're like, okay, something's wrong. We better get home right away. So I think it's with dread, and fear and nervousness, and I think Olive picks up on like, oh wow, something else is going on. This is not great. I got out of the fire and now I'm into the frying pan, or vice versa. But they're gonna go with them, and so I think they'll head towards Stumpsville, which is that next hex 15. So I think we're gonna approach this site. What's the entry tunnel? Wow, I just read that as cat tracks, and I'm like, holy crap! But it's cart tracks. So I think as our friends approach this entry tunnel, so familiar to them for their entire lives, except for Olive, of course. I'm gonna give them a chance to trying to decide here. The advice about telegraphing danger here suggests to me, what I was going to do is I was going to try and have them do an actual roll to get a clue that something's wrong. But I think that the point here that's being made is that in telegraphing danger, you want to give players ample warning of the dangers they face. Make traps obvious deadly puzzles. Give warning of the dangerous beasts that hunt the mice. Don't pull your punches. The only way for danger to be meaningful is if the outcome of failure is meaningful. When the players face off against dangerous foes or fall into a deadly trap, do not shy away from the consequences. So the first part of that is that it shouldn't be necessarily a surprise unless that's super important, I suppose. for them to be surprised. I think in describing, if this were a game mastery session, describing the entryway would include hints just given without having to roll skills that something is wrong. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't smell right. Now, so the question is ample warning, like I could give warnings, but ample warning, does that include details? I mean, this isn't D&D where, like, you know, you have to roll perception, and if you roll a 1 on perception, you're just an oblivious idiot and you blunder into everything, right? So this is a different play. This is a part where Mausritter is a different play style. I think what this means is you really just, you give it to them. That feels like the difference in the play style. So let's go ahead and do that. What I want to take a look at is what's next. Do I roll it? Maybe I roll an encounter. This is actually a really useful page. This is the rules reference, best practices, ask lots of questions, make notes, draw maps, work together, devise schemes, recruit allies. Dice are dangerous. Clever plans don't need to roll. Play to win, delight in losing, fight dirty, run, die, roll a new mouse. So there is actually a surprise round in combat. So actually, here's exploration in time with a turn tracker. So let's go ahead. Actually, the first roll of the game is going to be roll 2d6 is an 11. And of course, it's hidden. It's hidden behind me. There's the first roll. Ta-da! And this is actually, crazily enough, this is going to be a weather roll. So let's go back to the PDFs. So our weather was 11. Oh, wait, we don't know this must be summer. Okay, this is totally summer because they were at the river. It's pleasantly sunny out. That's the weather as they go from the roadhouse back home. And I think what they do is they, every 3 turns, or whenever they create noise or mayhem that would draw, when they're exploring the wilderness, start of the morning watch and the start of the evening watch. Okay, so what it says is to roll a random encounter, roll a d6. On a 1, an encounter occurs. On a 2, an omen occurs, signs or hints of an encounter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll, as we get to this the entry place in this adventure, we're going to roll 1d6 and see if an encounter happens. And a 6, so no encounter. So when they get to this entryway at Stumpsville, there's nothing there. And I think they're nervous, so they're approaching it with caution, and that means they would totally have time to see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing happening. There's no carts. There's no mice going in and out. This is like weird, very, very freaking weird, because it's like the afternoon, or you know, it's just after morning when they arrive because they just left the roadhouse. So it's just getting they spent the morning watch traveling, and this is like the afternoon when they arrive, and this is bizarre. I mean, Twilight Zone music starts in the background. I'm feeling like, you know, they're gonna hunch down because that would be the instinct, is like, okay, something's wrong, hunch down in these bushes, and they're gonna whisper each other. So I mean, what's going on? Should we wait here and find out what's going on? So that, you know, they're going to kibitz and try and figure out what to do next. Are they going to go in, or are they going to wait and try and find out? I mean, this is a dangerous world, right? And Olive just washed up on the side of a river. I'm thinking they're going to wait. Yeah, I think they would. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they would wait a watch. Let's just wait here and see what happens. So let's go ahead and let's roll one more encounter and see if something happens for them as they're waiting. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's roll one more, and still nothing. Okay, so this thing is a stump, right? And the city is in the stump. And I would think, I'm trying to think about noise. Like, is it silent, or what I'm trying to decide is if they would hear things. Like, I think they would have to. I mean, you're talking about a stump, a hollowed out stump, and sound would kind of echo. You know, the thing that I'm trying to think of is, like, I mean, they would be living in this stump and they would want to be hidden from predators and stuff, but there's just no way they wouldn't that a community of that size of 50 mice, working and laboring wouldn't make noise, right? So it's not so much that I think that the log really dampens all of the noise, because it would reverberate inside a bit. So what I'm going to say is that there's no encounter, but I think they definitely would hear. It's not even an omen. It's just natural noise, right? Well, I mean, they would expect to hear conversations, banging, construction and stuff. They might hear. I think they might hear some voices, and I think they might hear like a crate being broken, but definitely not the noises that they're familiar with. So I don't think there's any way that they would try and use the regular entryway, would they? Okay, looking at this map, what is 8 over here on this side? The cheese factory. There's an elevator, iron gate, elevator to courtyard, delivery hatch in the roof leads outdoors. I don't think we would use the regular entrance. We would go around to the back. We know there's a delivery entrance there that's barred, but it's usually open during delivery day, which it was yesterday. So I think we would sneak around. I can't imagine we would go through the main entrance. That just seems crazy to me. So I think what we do is, as a group, we back off. We do the DayZ thing where we back off and we go way the hell around to the other side to get a perch. So we're sneaking through the bushes and through the grass and the summer flowers, and it's gorgeous and beautiful, but we're all really nervous, trying to stay low so predators don't see us. And we go around and we get to the back, and I'm gonna say it's open because, well, okay, hold on. Let's give it a chance. Let's give it a chance to do an encounter. So let's go ahead and roll again on the encounter table, because this is a new location in the adventure site. And a 1. So there's an encounter. Okay. I mean, it's totally that thing, right? I mean, you shots fired, and then you back up like 1,000 miles out of your way to come out from a different angle. Okay, so we have an encounter. So let's roll on the encounter table. We'll roll 1d. It's a 1d6, I think. And we got a 1. So our encounter table. D3 dead rats searching for loot. So we get to this back area, and 3 dead rats. Holy crap. Okay. So we get to the back area, this delivery chute place from the cheese factory. And we see 3 dead rats rifling around, looking for loot. Okay, so we need to figure out dead rats. Okay, so I'm trying to find... Is it a rat? Oh, wait. Gang rats. Okay, so dead rats. Construct elaborate scavenged traps. Our rats are... Oh, hey, actually, let's remember for ourselves that we actually have a VTT that we're using today. So we've got rats. So we've got 3 of them. So we need actors, and we need a rat. So we need a rat. So here's our rat, and there's 3 of them. I think they're trying to trap this. They're building a trap. That's what they're doing. These people, this gang, they're known for constructing elaborate scavenged traps. So they're totally trying to create some sort of trap at this door. I mean, I think we hang out in the bush and we're watching them to see what they do, how long they're going to be there. So I think from the bushes, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the incense stick as a distraction to try and get them away from the entryway. Would they try? I mean, there's 4 of them. I think what they're going to say is, as they're discussing this, we're going to set up this distraction. We're going to set up an incense stick upwind of them and try and, if they split, then they'll try and take one of them down. If they don't split off, see, that doesn't work strategically. So what I was thinking is, if I make it where if they all go off to investigate, then they sneak in. But what that would mean is they would have to be downwind, that all of them would have to be downwind. So I think the choice is they're going to set up the incense stick. Hey, Jen. Okay, so Jin is right here, and then Resh is in my lap. Hi. But I think that doesn't work because we'd be caught out. We're splitting the party. Basically, what I think we're going to do is we're going to set up the incense stick as a distraction. We're going to light it, and then whoever that was, like Basil, is going to circle around back to the other group, the other three, which means that they're not going to be there for the beginning of combat, right? Because they'll be circling around, sneaking. So they'll be out of combat range for a little while as they reposition. But the three of them, the other three, I think they aren't going to wait because if they wait, then whoever was doing the investigating is going to come back. So if all of the rats go off, they're going to sneak in. But if not, like if one goes off, then they'll attack the other two. They'll wait a second and then attack the other two. Basil only has a dagger, so I don't think he'll, like, if there were just one that, would he try and sneak attack? That seems deadly. That just seems bad. That's a bad idea. That's a horrible idea. But what I don't want to have happen is to have all three go to the incense and then attack all three, because I might as well just attack. If I was going to attack all three, I might as well do it. What we're hoping to do is split the rats apart. Yeah, okay. So this is how it's... I'm nervous. Okay, so Basil is going to go off as one group. Olive, Poppy, and August are going to go with the other group. The other team. Team A and Team B. And Basil will go backward in time, and Olives and the rest will go forward in time. And then they'll meet in the middle. Okay, so what we're hoping to find out now is whether... So how many of these rats split off? Right? That's the question. As we set up this incense. Do they all go? Or does just one go? So let's have the rats roll a 1d3. 1. Okay, so one rat goes towards the incense, and then two rats stay. So what we see is, we see Basil sort of going through the bushes with the incense stick, setting it up upwind, lighting it, and then we see the sort of old time, cartoons with the pie with the scent wafting through the air. What we see is the incense, and we see the incense smoke sort of leisurely, just gorgeous, smoky line flowing through, and it gets towards the rats, and the rats are like, what's that? What's that smell? What's going on? Go find out. And so the one rat's, why do I have to do it? Because I told you to. Oh, okay. And then wanders off in that direction to try and find out what it is and shout if you need help. So now I think what we have to do, I think we have to roll a dex to do speed and agility, to see if Basil gets away. Oh, a dex of 6. Ay. Do I want to be generous and say we're going to give him advantage? I mean, I think the incense stick and the smoke are distracting enough. I think that's fair. Let's give Basil advantage on this dex roll to try and sneak away. So what Basil's trying to do is back off after lighting it, getting into the bush and starting to circle around. So I think they're already, by the time the rat gets there, they've already gone into the bushes. So we'll give advantage. Yeah. It just, I mean, it feels fair because there would have been time for the rat to get to the incense stick. Basil would have put it far enough away that there'd be some time. Okay, so let's roll dex, and we do that by clicking here, and then we're going to give advantage and we roll. Okay, I just had a brain hemorrhage, but it actually is good because you're trying to roll under. So we actually did a success. It'd be nice if that said that it was successful. Against dexterity, the target number was 6, and we rolled under it. So that's great. So Basil totally backs off, gets into the bushes, and starts circling around. And so however many rounds that rat is exploring there, they're going to be out of it, and then Basil is coming back around. So Basil in Team 2 is coming around the other side. So that leaves these 3 with these 2 rats. Okay, so I'm looking at these rules, and I need to remind myself about, let's do really quickly how to play combat. When you are in control of and acting in the role of your mouse, you can talk in first, second, or third person, or switch between them. You don't have to do a silly voice, but it can't hurt. Combat. If you attack unsuspecting foes, your mouse and any allies aware of their plan go first. Otherwise, make a dex save to act before your opponents. Okay, my reading of this surprise is that it's not a thing where you have to roll to see if you get surprise. If you attack unsuspecting foes, your mouse and any allies aware of the plan go first. Period. That's it. So I think what happens is that the three of the other 3 jump those 2 rats, and they get surprise. And attacks always hit. I think, so I think we're going to have, Olive is going to go after, oops, I have them all selected. Stop. I only want 1. No, what? What are you doing? There we go. Okay, so let's spread this out a little bit. So I think Olive is going to go for one of them, and then these 2 are going to sort of team up on the other one. Because Olive has the heavy armor and the big halberd, the scalpel. Okay, so how? Oh my God, they've got 12 strength. Holy crap! Oh God. Okay, so here we go. Olive Ratschlape is gonna do 1d10 damage. Oh my God, only did 2? Holy shit. Okay, so this rat takes 2 damage, so current is 1. Do I want to rewind that? What I'm thinking of is this particular mouse is sitting here with this huge scalpel and this lead coat, heavy armor, heavy weapon. I think they're going to take a gambit or take an action. They're going to try and bowl them over. I think that's too complicated for me right now to think about. Yeah, I think that's kind of like what's happening, though. What's happening is that Olive rushes in, heavily armored with this heavy weapon and just tries to pig stick this rat. I mean, just tries to just joust it into the ground. And maybe that's part of what's going on here, is that Olive tries to stick it so thoroughly that it takes it down to the ground, right? And it hits and does some damage. I think, given that I've said that it's gonna try, Olive is gonna try and push him to the ground, I think that goes ahead. That actually happens. And so, it's like in Seven Samurai with the completely cowardly guy, sticks the bandit and then goes crazy, now what do I do? I think that's what Olive is doing. Okay, so that was Olive. And, okay, so let's go with August. August has Needle. So I think... Oh, man. Does August use the net to incapacitate? Ooh, I think so. Yeah. So that, I think that's what's going on here, is that August is going to actually try and wrap this other rat with a net, in order to incapacitate it, right? So what that'll mean is that its attack will be impaired, but attacks against it will be enhanced because it's wrapped in this net. So I think that's what he does. He just comes over and just wraps the net around this rat, and that'll be the total of the action, is to impair this rat. So this rat is incapacitated. Now Poppy is gonna rush up with the hammer and try and like smack its head. So let's go ahead and we're gonna, because that rat is grappled in the net, this is going to be an enhanced attack. So we roll that, and we're going to enhance it, and we're going to roll 12 damage. Wow. Okay, so this rat takes 3 hit protection, and then takes 9. Wow! Look at that! All the way down to 3. After taking strength damage, creature must make a strength save. If they succeed, they are still able to fight. If they fail, they take critical damage. Wow. Okay, so we're going to do a strength save. I don't think that the strength save will be at disadvantage. So we're going to just roll. The rat fails and is incapacitated, unconscious. Let's mark them unconscious. Okay. So it's down for the count, and so it takes critical damage, and it's incapacitated, and it can't do anything until it's tended to by an ally. And if it's left for like six turns, it dies. So that was freaking sweet. Okay, so now all 3 of them have gone. Basil is still running around, and the other rat is still exploring that. So the rats are up. There's only 1 rat left, and it's got 1 hit protection left. So it's still and full strength. It's still feeling like it is okay. Is it at disadvantage because now it's on the ground because it got stuck with this pig sticker? I think it's going to try and take a swing at Olive, but that it is in fact impaired because it's on the end of this giant halberd. It's got to try and reach past the halberd to hit Olive. So let's go ahead and we'll attack with impaired, and we'll roll. Ooh, a palpable hit. It got max damage on that 4. Wait, how did it roll a d6 though? No, it's red because it's the top. Okay, so Olive takes 1 defense. So I think what happens is we have to mark the lead coat got 1 use of the 1 defense, and that makes our HP 0, and then we take strength down to 8. Now we have to roll a strength save. Yes? There we go. No advantage or disadvantage. And we rolled a 13, and we failed. So I think yeah. So, this all happened super quick. Is Olive bum rushed out with this giant halberd, stuck the rat, and is like, oh god, what do I do now? And the rat is like, wham! Totally nails against Olive's armor. We hear like the church bell, blong, and she just like falls unconscious. Okay, so I think that's these 2 are now up. So they're gonna they see Olive fall, and they're like they look at each other like, oh no, our new friend, and this is horrible. We got our new friend killed, and so they rush over to get in between this rat and Olive, and then they attack. I'm gonna rule that there was no time to get the net off of that other rat. So August can't do the same thing. So let's go ahead and see. August has this needle, right? So let's go ahead and let's attack with needle. I think the rat has gotten up. I don't think it's impaired anymore from being stuck. I think the halberd fell, and now the rat is like, brah. So damage 1 on the rat. So that's going to take its HP or hit protection down to 0. So still no strength damage. But now, yeah, so I think August just goes twink and like bonk against this rat. And the rat's like, what? How dare you? And so Poppy is next. Poppy's going to attack with the hammer. And this is going to be a normal attack. And so this is 1 damage. Only 1 to strength. So current strength 11. They need to do a strength save. Oh, it was a success. So they are still in the fight. And the rat is going to... I think the rat would attack Poppy because Poppy did actual damage. So it's going to swing with the cleaver. Oh, God. Oh, massive hit. Massive hit. So when Poppy smacks the rat with the hammer, it hits its thumb, and it's going, my thumb, and just plasters Poppy with the cleaver. Poppy has HP hit protection of 7. I don't know how that's true, but that goes down to 1, so actually takes no real damage. That's phenomenal. I think the way that looks in game is this whip-like tail that Poppy has. I think at the same time that this cleaver is coming down, that the whip tail thwaps the hand and causes maybe the cleaver to go sideways as the rat is like, ow, but the swing keeps going, and so the flat of the cleaver whacks Poppy on the top of the head and just like, wow, ow, but no actual like major damage happened. Just like sort of stumbled her back a little bit as Poppy is trying to defend with the whip tail. Okay, so that was the rat's attack. Now I'm gonna rule now that Basil has come back and surveys the scene, and basically I think Basil comes up behind this rat and tries to pig stick it. Does the D&D rogue backstab. So we're gonna go dagger, and I'm gonna do enhanced because it's a backstab, because I'm feeling generous, and we're gonna roll, and that was a damage of 6 against this rat, so that's 7. No, wait, no, it's not. What am I doing? It's 5, not 15. 5. Okay, so fails. Okay. So this backstab does 6 full damage. Just totally reams this guy a new one. A true backstab even. And incapacitates it. It's like, oh, my lumbar region. And it falls back. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to the chiropractor now. And is now incapacitated. So I think what happens next? I think the friends have got to regroup, and let's see, how is Olive doing? I think nobody is super injured. Yeah. So I don't think it's like we need to heal anybody right now, but we do need to tend to Olive. And they need to take a short rest. So Olive's out. Basically, Olive is out. But we'll bind wounds and do whatever, and get them, in shape. But we're sort of getting ready for the return of this other rat, this third rat, who I think finally we're gonna get ready to surprise the shit out of it. So we get Olive off into the bushes. and then we get our net, and we get to one side, and then Basil goes off with Olive to the other side. And then I think, so what we're waiting for is we're waiting for this other rat to show up and come in and go, oh my God, what's going on? One rat is totally out, like unconscious, and the other one is rolling around, clutching its back, going, oh. And this rat comes out of the bushes and is like, what the hell? And at that moment, our mice, three of them, because Olive is hanging out in the bushes, come in and jump. And so we're gonna surprise. And I think August is gonna use that net and wrap the rat again. And then Poppy is going to attack with... Oops, wrong one. Poppy is going to attack with that hammer. And it's going to be enhanced because they're incapacitated with the net. So we do 4 to this rat. That's all hit points, or hit protection, and 1 strength. So that means they have to take a strength save. They do succeed. So that was Poppy's turn. And then Basil is going to attack with this dagger again. And it's enhanced. And we're going to roll. Whoa, we got a critical hit on that. We got 12. This is another backstab. So while this rat is dealing with Poppy and the hammer, Basil sneaks up and totally skewers it again. Totally backstab from D&D. 12 damage. That is literally down to 0 strength. I mean, does that kill it? If a creature has their strength reduced to 0, they are dead. Wow. Clutch play, Basil. I mean, Basil just does this rat in. Oh man, I think Basil is secretly an assassin. I mean, this is Assassin's Creed. I think the other two rat mice are like, holy crap, Basil, and Basil's like, I think Basil basically goes over and stabs the shit out of the other 2 rats, and then takes the dagger and like does the whole thing from Rome. Do you remember that? If you've ever seen Rome, that one scene, Mars, see me, and to this bloody dagger. These bodies I pledge unto you. Whatever the line was, I can't remember. And then it's like, what? Notices the other 2 mice looking at, like, I don't think we actually know who this person is. This is like, they're like double taking to each other, and Basil's like, what? I'm just doing my job. Basil's like, oh wow, this hedge witch is like killer. Hot damn. Well, I mean, at least in this one. So, okay, so we are at the place where we have one of our rat friends who needs to take a short rest. So I think what happens is I think the other 3, they're going to get they would have to get the rats away from this door behind some rocks or something so that they're not discovered. And then what they would do is they would tend to Olive and do a short rest. And I think, honestly, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that's our first session of Mausritter. And so the next thing that would happen is we'll do the short rest, heal up, and then we'll go into the adventure site and maybe go through the open door to the cheese factory and then start exploring the rest of the adventure site. So yeah, so I think we're gonna call it there and hope to see you next time, and bye.